This is your friend Robato, and we're gonna talk about Miss Universe Colombia 2020. I just got out of school. I'm a little bit tired. I don't have any preparations at all. All I have are those images of Catriona Gray at Miss Universe Colombia pageant when she was introduced. I'm a little bit pissed off at this moment. She was wrongly introduced. She was mistakenly introduced. She was inappropriately introduced. She was illegally introduced. Oh my God! How could they do that? How could they commit mistakes? It is a national pageant. And Miss Colombia pageant is not just a so-so pageant because Colombia is a powerhouse in the Miss Universe competition. I don't know why. There are a lot of rumors or, how do you say this? Allegations that it was still a result of that bitter acceptance of PS winning Miss Universe 2015. Another thing is that it was just a technical problem. Another thing is that it was intentional, and so on and so forth, etc., etc., etc. I don't think it was sabotage, but it was incompetence to the highest level. How could they have committed that mistake? It is a national competition on national television. It is the grandest, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that it is the most prestigious beauty pageant in Colombia. You can't blame the host. She's just reading, her script. You can't blame the editing team. There's only one person or group that you should put blame into, and that is the Miss Colombia organization itself, because they have to approve everything. They have to check everything if everything is okay. You see? So that's where this intentional thing comes from. That they should have known it before the live telecast. Because himay-himayin talaga nila ito dapat. Diba? Kahit yung sa script, yung kung ano yung lalabas sa screen, it should have been checked and rechecked before getting approved. So I don't know why. Garay is part of my fun moments. How to say that? Because I used to say, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Catriona Garay, because I love how I pronounce it. I love the sound of it. Catriona Garay. And now it happened. But I'm not happy with the way it happened. Her name is not just a name of a community pageant. Yeah, a community beauty pageant. Or kumbaga in the Philippines, it's barangay. Or let's make it a little bit Spanish sounding, barrio level. She was the Miss Universe and she's so popular. She's not just a superstar here in the Philippines, but she's a superstar all over the world. And no one can deny that truth. Everyone wanted to be like Catriona. Everyone was amazed with Catriona's performance. If there were a few people who disapproved of her performance, of her being Catriona, then those are just bitter people. Or, let's not be rude. Maybe they just don't like Catriona based on their personal preferences. So it's understandable, but wow. The being famous peg is unquestionable. Now, if you are as big as Catriona, your name should have been concrete and cemented in the minds of majority of pageant enthusiasts. And those people who organize Miss Colombia are pageant enthusiasts, pageant businessmen, pageant fans, pageant people. How could they miss it? You see, that's just my question. How could they miss it? And there is no need to do that. You don't usually include the place where a Miss Universe winner was born or a pageant judge was born. Or maybe they just inject Australia into the introduction just to please Catriona, maybe. Who knows? So some people might also say that, well, Catriona might have approved it. And the other people would say that, of course not. They just got all those information from maybe Google, which is very unprofessional because they have all the links to get to know someone as big as Catriona, especially if that's an important figure in your pageant, especially if you have imported that woman 10,000 miles from her very own country, the Philippines, just to grace your show and be part of the judging team or the jury. You see, I really feel uncomfortable watching the video. And look at Catriona's face. It reminds you of, a villainous face in a Colombian telenovela, like in Betty La Fea. Do you remember Betty La Fea? It's a little bit smirky. Should I say smirky? Okay, let's just say that she smirked. Like that. I just couldn't get it, but it's like that. The smile looks like you don't feel it. I hate to say it's fake, because Catriona is not fake. She has defended herself from being fake as far as the Boy Abunda show, moments, 2 years ago is concerned. She has elaborated much about that. That she's not fake. She hates being fake. And I believe in her. So let's just say that smile was the right answer, the right response to an introduction like that. Anyway, this is just all about, my rant is just all about the officials of the Miss Universe Colombia, who were so insensitive, who were so unprofessional in dealing with it. And I don't hear any apology at all. Or maybe there is no need to make an apology. But for me, I think they must issue an apology. Or they must explain it. If they don't want to apologize, then explain it. Why? Why did it happen? If it's just a technical error, then go. But it's twice in a row. The Australian-born something, I'm not fluent in Spanish. I did say I'm not fluent because all Filipinos could speak Spanish in one way or another. This is part of our culture. This is a part of our everyday conversation. When you go to the market, when you go to school, when you date with your boyfriend, when you fix your house and so on and so forth, you just, encounter Spanish words all the time. This is part of your life being a Filipino. Samples, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27, 29, 20,000, 35, 49, 1972, 1924, and so on and so forth. You see, we use it every day, like basura, bisikleta, bruja. Letter B pa lang yan. So there is a little Latina in each and every one of us. Don't you agree? So we love Latinos. I presume, consume, and assume that majority of us loves Latino people, Latinos. As we believe they also love Asians. We are friends. And we love Colombia. And we have also seen it, the way they welcomed Catriona. Catriona is also being swarmed by photographers and fans during her stay in Colombia. And Miss Colombia candidates, whenever they are in the Philippines or whenever a pageant is in the Philippines, they always, they would always show love and support for Colombia girls. So there's no denying that there is a mutual love between the two of us, Philippines and Colombia. So let's not fight one another. It's all about that wrong introduction that was given to Catriona. And I think the Philippines, or if not the Philippines, Catriona herself, Catriona deserves an explanation. Or maybe they have already talked about it. So let's just leave it there. Because if Catriona doesn't talk about this anymore after issuing that Filipina thing on Instagram, I think, or on Twitter. I'm not sure about that. I just read something about that. So maybe it's over. But I think it would be better if they divulge the reason behind it, or what really transpired during that moment. Now, if I may ask you people, Filipino people, how would you prefer to be introduced? If you would just rephrase that statement. I forgot it. I was talking about how good we are speaking Spanish. Because I was about to talk about, the how did I know that was the translation? And that's where those Spanish thing that I mentioned a while ago entered into. That we could understand Spanish in our own little way. But me, I really didn't understand all. I had a hint that it might mean that way, or it might mean that thing. But still, I wanted to be sure, so I went to YouTube. And then there I found some, translations already, from some angry Filipinos. And also from Rappler and from legitimate news sources in the Philippines. That she was introduced as half Australian. Or Australian-born. Who represented the Philippines at Miss Universe. Parang ganun. So mag-iba-iba man namang interpretasyon, is yun pa rin. The bottom line is, that's the main thought there. Yun na yun. Na it's irrelevant. In that situation, it was irrelevant. Except, of course nga, if they felt that they needed to mention Australia to please Catriona. Or as what others believe was the main reason, is to hurt Pinoys. Anyway, you had your second Miss Universe, you had your fourth Miss Universe, but she's not Filipino. Sort of that. Ayun. So, now let's go back to that stuff that I ask you. If you would rephrase it, how would you do it? Will you just say, half Australian, half Filipino, Catriona Gray won Miss Universe in 2018. Masaya na ba kayo doon? Or if you have something more in your mind, share nyo lang dito, comment nyo lang. Hypothetical question. For example, you were assigned by the Miss Colombia Universe organization or Miss Universe Colombia organization to write the introduction for Catriona. How would you introduce her? How would you introduce Catriona Gray? A ver, por favor. Okay, so we will try to give a follow-up to this, a follow-up chat or a follow-up vlog maybe next week or 3 or 4 days from now, because there is a possibility that I might have a virtual collaboration with the one and only Tita Lavinia. She just doesn't have, the slightest idea maybe that I have been watching her for quite some time now. I like her. And after Norman, we might have an encounter one of these days. So watch out for that. And we would tackle not just this issue, but also Catriona Gray's gown during the coronation and more. Especially when it comes to lovely gowns of beauty pageant candidates, because she's the authority when it comes to that. I tell you. Okay, so abangan yun. Now, let's talk about Miss Colombia.